at his church.
We did.
And his favorite meal is Southern Quartet singing with meatloaf. His son has this to say about it. He said, what I know about this is that the Lord equipped my dad and his family, not including me, to be musical. Dad plays the piano by ear, well with his hands, but you get the point. And that put him right in the middle of our family, playing piano for his parents and his sisters at 12 years old. His parents traveled around singing, and once the older sisters left the roost, he then played the piano for his parents and younger sisters as they traveled and sang. Dad and his family would minister in song in Mom's dad's church, Mount Zion, where my grandpa, on my mom's side, pastored. His son goes on to say, I believe the story goes that he was interested in the daughter with the chubby cheeks. And Dad was clarifying who he was interested in the church. There were 6 months that they lived in Maryland, maybe a little over 6 months, but they missed the Hoosier land so much that they moved back and moved into singing quartets as long as I can remember. He sang with the ambassadors, the gospel servants, and as a kid I loved going with Dad as he sang so I could ride the bus and jump from seat to seat and bump to bump. But Dad was really a servant. Dad was always and still is very giving. He would give his time for sure as he worked a full-time job or was running a business and singing 3 or 4 times on the weekend. As I became a young working man, and even to this day, I greatly respect my dad in this area because his heart is for the Lord and for the people. Leaving little free time and margin in his personal life. He always gave of himself, and Dad would give to anyone the shirt off his back, pay for the meal, or drive a junky van that my brother was so embarrassed to ride to school in because Dad loved to sacrifice as he provided for his family. My dad is a tireless worker. I've always said that he was the hardest worker I've ever known, and how he managed to be so passionate about spending all of his free time traveling, I'll never know. Later in his life, I came to understand that passion was God-given, and that's how it's been sustained all these years. And he still loves to minister and work for the Lord. He probably has never known how his example challenges me daily to not be so selfish, which I am very good at. If I can give and love just half as much as my dad, and I would be a great man. When God chose him to be my dad, he was the perfect choice for that role in my life. I want you to celebrate an evening of honor to the man in my life that I respect, honor, and love the most, my dad. However, when you give him a compliment or any accolades, Dad would say with his finger pointed toward heaven, to God be the glory. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail. For those of you that may not know, on September 28, 1996, the Indiana Quartet Convention came to a close and left a gap in the hearts of many gospel music lovers. So, with a hunger for Southern gospel music burning in the hearts of many gospel music fans, there was a need for something in Indiana that would fill the void. The question was, who would step up and how would it happen? With the cost of supporting Southern gospel music with full-time Southern gospel music artists, there would have to be another way of fulfilling this need for gospel music, for a gospel music event. that somehow would once again fill a weekend with the best in gospel music. In November of 1996, Ralph Calvert called me and wanted to know if my wife and I could meet him and his wife for dinner. He said he had something he wanted to discuss, an idea that he felt would replace the Indiana Quartet Convention. His idea was simple. He said to me, "Brother Allen, I know that the state of Indiana is full of gospel music artists that can hold their own against the more popular full-time national artists. The question was, would the local Indiana soloists, duets, trios, and quartets travel and sing for only their table sales?" He smiled and he said, "Bill, this would be a great time to bring people together and expose many of the Indiana artists to new people, pastors, and church event organizers. It would help promote their ministry." Well, I thought the idea was terrific. And on that night, the Indiana Gospel Music Festival was conceived. And in July of 1997, the very first Indiana Gospel Music Festival event was born. Through the years, with the help of Ralph Calvert, the first president, and the other presidents that followed, Russ Watson, and its current president, Larry Graves, it has evolved into one of the premier gospel events in the state of Indiana. And so, with this little bit of history, and the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson ringing clear, we, the Indiana Gospel Musical Festival Board of Directors, want to present the very first Indiana Gospel Musical Festival President's Award. I'm trying to hold back the tears because this man is also my friend. The very first President's Award to a man that did create a path and left a trail for all of us that love true, anointed gospel music. A man that is so very deserving for his hard work, his vision, and dedication. A work that is the Indiana Gospel Music Festival. I want you to put your hands together and welcome Ralph Calvert. Would you do that?
Thank you.
Totally surprised.
You say totally a lot.
Thank you. I want to say while he's coming to the stage, Brother Larry, you can absolutely agree with me, I'm sure, that if it wasn't for this man, there wouldn't be an Indiana Gospel Music Festival. He planted the seed, and well, look over this audience. It's the biggest yet. Yeah, give yourself a hand. And truly, Brother Ralph was right. Indiana is full of gospel music artists. Once again, let's thank you, welcome. Would you do that? The first President's Award for Ralph Calvert.
All I know is this is a total surprise. Alan called me and asked me a couple of questions about some of the dates. He already knew them, obviously. And all I can tell you is that it's a wonderful privilege just to be able to stand here and see the audience participate in the Gospel Music Festival. And Alan and Larry and Russ has carried it on until what it is tonight. And it took everybody. There was 13 groups originally that was a part of the IGMF. Get the IGMA and the IGMF confused. Two separate entities. But everybody had a dream in those 13 groups that we would participate and share one another's love for gospel music and our audiences. And that's exactly what's happened. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Once again, Brother Bob Patrick.
All right, thank you, Brother Ralph. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you, Brother Ralph. Don't forget, in addition to the big gas